Hey, welcome in, everybody. It is the drive. Move over Westwood 1, guys. Just for a couple hours, let the local guys come on in, have some fun here from the Findlay Hyundai Studios. It is the drive, and we're broadcasting live in St. George every single weekday morning, 7 a.m. Devin, Dixon, Paul, Retliff, Tara, Atkin. We are the drive morning crew. We are locked. We are loaded. We are game day today.
Yes.
We are going to break down the game 2 tonight in Vegas. I'm going to be sneaking down. I'm finally going to a playoff game.
You're breaking the seal.
I watched you and TA hit up a couple games in the first round, and I saw TA's commitment to fly to Tampa Bay for a game 7, and I'm like, right. I can make it on a Wednesday night.
You can do it.
One time down to Vegas.
Yeah.
And so down and back tonight, taking my son. Buddy is taking his son. I'm taking my son. We're doing a little boys trip tonight.
Yeah.
And running down to the Fortress to catch some playoff hockey tonight. It's game 2, Ducks and Knights. We're gonna break that game down from some different angles.
Yes,
today.
I like some different angles.
And we'll have some fun coming up next segment. We'll talk about that. But last night in sports, here's what's trending this morning for me. Rubber match today between the Braves, good baseball team, Atlanta Braves, looking for a bounce-back season, and my Seattle Mariners. Braves win 3-2 last night, so they've split the first 2 games of this series. It's been a really good series, probably one of the better series this week in the big leagues. Yeah. I was watching a little bit of the game the last 2 nights and some key moments and some key situations. And for early May baseball, got to peek in on my M. So that is noteworthy for me tonight. And then the NBA games last night. It was kind of a tidy night in the association, I would say, Paulie. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Tidy. OKC taking care of business. They dominate the Lakers. I'm not surprised by that at all. Even though LeBron James played well last night. And SGA only had 18. Chet, the Unicorn Holmgren, had a team high 24 for the Thunder.
See that? 12 rebounds, 3 blocks for him. Good game for the big man from your home state in Gonzaga. You know,
well, prepped in Washington.
That's right.
Prepped in Michigan, didn't he? Isn't he grow up in like?
Yeah, his dad was the one that did the whole camcorder thing, and every game wouldn't record on his phone. Would actually bring a camcorder to every game and record Chet as a young bull going through the ranks.
That's right. LeBron had a game-high 27. It was not enough. Again, still no Luka.
Yeah.
SGA kind of struggled, but it really hardly matters. There's something about this matchup. It's just not a good matchup for the Lakers.
It's not.
And J.J. Redick, I was listening to his post-game comments, and he gave credit to OKC, and he said, hey, there's some positives. And JJ's good with the mic. I mean, he hosts podcasts. He's a Duke grad. Like, there's a lot of things that JJ does well, and I think he handles the media pretty well. But I think he's just outmatched in this series.
Yeah, and you're not going to win many games when Reeves shoots 3 of 16.
Reeves has got to play
4
better.
of 15, A lot of your key players, and Luke Kennard, your kind of 3-point sniper, is 1 for 3 and 7 total points. So, yeah, I just don't see it for the Lakers here. OKC, I looked on the odds via DraftKings, and right now, with all the teams, every single team available left in the playoffs, they are minus 170 to win the title.
Yeah.
Almost 2-1 to win the title.
Well, Lakers show they can maybe hang. Like, just because you can hang doesn't mean you're going to win, but you can hang.
It was 53 or 61 to 53 at halftime.
They were 14.
So they were right there.
They were 14.5 point underdogs at the end of the day. OKC still covered that big playoff spread for a game 1. And look, J.J. Redick says he trusts their ability to execute. He thinks that this is a team that can execute in the half-court set or get out in transition and run. I think LeBron James showed in the first quarter he could get the Lakers to keep it close.
Yeah.
But for them to be more than competitive against the defending champs, they just got to be better offensively. Reeves can't shoot 3 of 16.
Yes.
The bench can't score only 15 points.
Yeah, it doesn't help you. When
the
you're
Lakers
playing a good
can't
team.
turn the ball over 17 times. Some of that maybe feels fixable to Laker fans out there. But I don't know what is JJ Redick got some magic tricks? Like is he mysteriously going to pull a rabbit out of a hat here and figure something out that's going to Rick Carlisle used to be the master timeout guy in the NBA.
Yeah,
and he would call these diligent timeouts when he felt like it was time, and he would go in the locker or into the huddle, and he would have this big rah pep speech, and guys would react. And I don't know if JJ can pull some magic and has some tricks up his sleeve, but the Thunder haven't lost in the postseason, and they don't look like they're going to.
I don't think JJ, no matter how many coolers he flips over or chairs he throws in the locker room, no matter how spirited his speech is, they're up against it.
They're outmatched.
They're up against it. Yes.
They are outmatched. It looks that way for the Minnesota Wild in the hockey, too.
Yeah.
The Avalanche poured on again, another 5-2 victory last night. This is as much of a favorite as Oklahoma City is in basketball. You kind of feel like Avalanche are that big a favorite in the NHL right now.
It kind of feels that way. As far as they won the President's Trophy, they were the most dominant regular season team. And I sometimes throw that out because there's been a lot of President's Trophy winners that go on to squander and go out early in the playoffs. But it doesn't look like the Avalanche are one of those teams. It looks as if they're a super complete team. I think the only hole in the Avalanche is Scott Wedgwood, their goalie. They won a Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper, a goalie that bounced around, never really had the same career after he left that team. And Wedgwood kind of feels like that, kind of a middle of the road goalie that's playing above his head throughout the regular season. And I think a really good team, like I thought the Wild were, could light him up and maybe beat him, but he had 29 saves last night, only let in 2 goals. So 31 shots, 29 saves, pretty good effort from him, much improved from the 6 goals he allowed in game 1. So if the Avalanche can get good goaltending from Wedgwood, the rest of the team is loaded. You look at McKinnon, Landeskog had, that guy was coming back from cancer recovery. He had a goal and an assist. And that story has been incredible this year.
I was watching Landeskog. He just seems like he's freewheeling right now. He's just playing so confidently.
Yes.
He doesn't ever get out of position. He's always making the right play at the right time. He's such a heady player. And look, the Colorado Avalanche, here's what they got to hope. They got to hope history doesn't repeat itself. Minnesota, on the other hand, is hoping for some magic. For the 9th time in franchise history, the Wild are facing an uphill climb, and they're down 2-0 in a series. They've rallied out of those 9. They've trailed 0-2 once to win the series.
Yeah.
And look, we saw the Avalanche in the first round sweep a good up-and-coming Kings team, made them look mincemeat. Just took them. And they've scored 14 goals in the first 2 home games. If they do that on the road and they're scoring 5 and 9 goals in the first 2 games in Minnesota, there's no way the Wild avoid a sweep.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way. The Wild, the way they're playing right now, it just doesn't look like the game and the pace of play is in their favor. It truly looks like they're playing the Avalanche's game throughout the entire duration of the 3 periods in the first 2 games. I know they scored 6 goals in the first one, but that was just a bad game from their goaltender, Wedgwood. But in game 2, 29 saves. If this guy can be like this with this offensive complement of weapons that the Avalanche have, it might be hard for any team in the league to beat them in a 7-game series.
Nikos and Kaprizov scored 6 seconds apart in the first period. They never looked back. Landeskog's now got a point streak of 5 straight games. He had a power play goal. McKinnon scored another power play goal. He had 2 assists. That's his 21st career multi-point playoff game for Nathan McKinnon.
That's pretty wild. Just a lot of people.
That passes Joe Sakic for the most in franchise history.
That's a big
So
honor.
any Avs fans out there left in the STG, little nugget for you there.
That's nice. And McKinnon, everyone talks about McDavid as the best player in the league, but McDavid doesn't have a cup and McKinnon does. They're really similar as far as their skill and speed and talent. I think it's almost time we start talking about McKinnon if he wins another cup as potentially the better player over McDavid.
Oh, McDavid,
But
yeah.
that'd be my opinion, and I know that's somewhat of a hot take.
They 9 goals Colorado racked up in game 1 showed
Yeah.
how explosive that offense could be. But the Avalanche were also, if I'm not mistaken, the league's best during the regular season, being stingy defensively, allowing
Yes.
the fewest goals per game. I think it was 2.40 per game. That was the lowest. And look, they can check too. They can really defend. This is not a one-dimensional team like we've kind of thought as Edmonton has been the last couple of years. Just offensive powerhouse, but no defense, not great goal.
McDavid,
goal play.
138 points on the season.
Yeah.
McKinnon, 127.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is not huge. It's not a chasm that everyone talks about. And McKinnon
But
is
Sir Stanley is a pretty big difference.
That is, and McKinnon's got 1, and McDavid's got
that's the
0,
tiebreaker.
right? Yeah. So I mean, in my mind, McKinnon is a proven playoff player. And he has won a cup. He might win a second one this year. Maybe that's a debate we have for another day. Maybe in the summer, something like that.
Well, it's interesting because McKinnon noted last round against the LA Kings that they didn't activate their D once in that whole series, and that was their game plan to just kind of check them to death. Now, Minnesota's a completely different team, one with a bunch of offensive firepower. We saw them score 6 goals of their own in game 1, and it's led to more open, fast-paced style of play, and that's given Colorado's most skilled players like McKinnon, like Landeskog, a chance to really shine.
Natchez, they've got so many guys that are super skilled. Speed, Brock Nelson.
Yeah,
I know
Nelly.
he's one of your favorites.
Yeah, from the Islanders.
Yeah, back in those days, and he's proven to be one of the best players for the Avalanche as well.
He's a gold medalist along with several other of his family members.
That's right. Yeah, the
Uncle and grandfather, I
think
believe.
it was. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
And Quinn Hughes, speaking on the Wild, he leads the playoffs with 11 points.
Yeah.
And Kaprizov tied for first with 11 as well. So they've got some guys that are producing, but like I've said before, hot goalie X, depth scoring X. They have neither of those right now for the Wild. It's been their big guns, and they need their depth scoring and other pieces that contribute if they're going to at least beat the Avalanche once.
Well, and the scary thing is they were only 1 of 11 on power plays against the Kings, and they still swept them.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were 2 of 5 last night on the power play.
Yeah, that's not
ouch.
good.
That's not good. Yeah.
Ouch. So that is going on. 2-0 now, Avalanche. We got a couple more hockey games, including the Knights in action tonight. The other NBA game from last night, Detroit looks like a real contender again. They win 111-101 against Donnie Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been really excited for I'm not from Detroit. I don't have any connection to Detroit. But I've been really excited for the Pistons because I feel like this is what the Jazz fans kind of can hope for, the best situation. Just put yourselves in the Pistons fans' shoes. Before Cade Cunningham, for that transformational 1-1 pick, where were the Pistons? Middling, or less than mediocre, probably worse than mediocre.
The thing that's impressive to me about the Pistons, to your point, is how quickly they rebuilt this team through the draft.
No free agents, really.
Like, they haven't been good since 2008.
Yes.
In fact, this is the first game 1 they've won since 2008. It's been almost 20 years ago.
First time they've been around 2 since 2008.
But Detroit, I thought, set the tone early. I watched a little bit of this first part of the game. They really never let up. They led by as many as 18 last night. Cleveland's got Mobley. Cleveland's got James Harden. They've got Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Jared Allen. They got some pieces.
And they did spark a fourth quarter push, and all of a sudden they trailed by as many as 18. It was tied 93 apiece in the latter stage of that game before the Pistons were able to, run back away and hide and win by 10. Cavs need to hold on to the ball. Jared Allen, kept turning it over. He had 3 fouls in the first quarter. He had a huge game the night before, and I expected a better game, and he was a dud last night. I thought that really hurt him, even though Donnie did some nice things. Harden stuffed the stat sheet.
Your boy you were talking about yesterday, Duncan Robinson,
Duncan's good.
5 of 8 from 3-point range last night for Duncan.
Did you go watch that feature I was telling you about? It was really well done.
I need to see that for sure.
Really well done.
I'm not gonna forget that.
Yeah, good feature. So the Pistons outmuscle the Cavs. They score 31 points off turnovers in a game 1 win last night. So 108-90, that was the final in the West, with the Thunder taking the 1-0 lead over the Lakers. So there is your around the water cooler recap from some of the professional sports that we're playoff sports that we're watching last night. Just the one game on the ice, 2 on the hardwood. 2 more games tonight. Philadelphia in New York. Now, Philadelphia's coach is going to his brother's funeral, so he is not going to be coaching this game. He's jumping to Iowa. I don't know all the details. I haven't had time to look closely into that, but not going to be there. Is that added motivation? Does that is that maybe New York's still 7.5 point favorites according to DraftKings current odds?
Yeah, I don't think it makes a ton of a difference, honestly. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, all I really know is that Nick Nurse is going to his brother's funeral.
Is that going to make a huge difference?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So. That's why I posed the question to you. I believe in motivation in sports through other things often. Playing for somebody that's got cancer or overcoming adversity and coming back off an injury, or I've seen it time and time again. And Nick Nurse's brother died unexpectedly at age 62. And it was a day before Nick coached the 76ers to a win over the Celtics in Game 6. He was on the bench in the blowout loss in Game 1.
All right.
But he will not be there tonight in Game 2. And some people might criticize that, and I think Nick Nurse, it's family over everything. You just lost your brother. You're going to go pay tribute. You're not going to have the league reschedule a playoff game, and I think he's doing the right thing. I'm big on this. I know there's some 76er fans, that's going to be a brutal sports market that might be like, this is our chance. Like, coach, you got to coach the team, and they probably are drilling them to a certain extent. I don't know how bad it is in Philadelphia on sports talk the last 24 hours.
I don't know.
But to me, I think, this is a no-brainer, and it's not that hard of a decision for Nick Nurse.
It's not a hard personal decision, I don't think.
Yeah. And a lot of people, there's nothing you could do. He's gone.
He's going to get flamed by a certain faction, but there should be an overwhelming majority that understand the situation.
I've always kind of been a Nick Nurse fan a little bit. He kind of always has seemed like an underdog.
See the
type
Raptors coach when they won the championship.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I kind of like him too.
Yeah. And obviously they brought him in and let Doc go, and the rest is history this season. And now they've upset Boston in the first round, and they're trying to dig out of a 1-0 hole. They got blown out in Game 1.
Yeah.
By 39 points to the Knickerbockers. So Nick Nurse reportedly will be at the funeral today, and he will not be on the bench tonight for that game in the NBA. So that'll be your first game, 5 o'clock local time. And then Minnesota, San Antonio. Minnesota stole Game 1. What's going to happen? Can San Antonio spur back in Game 2 tonight? We'll find out. A lot of people expecting them to, including the odds makers. 9.5 point favorites are the Spurs tonight over the Timber Pups.
That's
and
big.
The shooting free throw prowess of Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower.
That's right.
Cannot make a free throw.
It'll be a fun game. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than 9.5. I think that's a big number. Wolves have shown that they're a resilient group, having that lead, and then Anthony Edwards, their star, getting hurt last series, still winning the series.
I don't know, though. I mean, I would be scared taking Minnesota plus 9.5. I'll be honest, just because they've already stolen away home court. They've already guaranteed themselves a split. This could be an energized crowd.
Game,
that scares me a little bit. It being under 10 like that. I would probably disagree, and if I were going to play that game, I think I would probably just bank on it's the NBA. Who knows what's going to happen, and San Antonio is going to find a way to get Wemby going. I know there's a little bit of banter, I guess you could say, because Minnesota was really frustrated that Wemby's goaltends are not getting called. Remember, he had 12 blocks. He set the NBA record.
Yeah.
And the story over the last day was Minnesota's mad that those aren't called goaltending on some of those blocks because they felt like the ball was coming down. He's so stinking long.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know if I could. I like the makeup of Ant-Man coming back. I mean, he had a good game off the bench the other day, but I would be scared of that number.
All right.
I would have no play on that game, to be honest.
No play, he says.
No. If I was going to play the game, I think I would take the opposite of you, and I would lay the 9.5.
If he was going to play the
Correct.
game, he'd lay
That's
the 9.5.
what I'm getting at. Hey, we are off and running. That's what's going around the water cooler today. We're getting closer to high school playoff baseball tomorrow. Double dip for you. First at 4 o'clock right here on the Fan Sports Network. Simulcast on radio and on our app, as well as on YouTube and KSLSports.com. We'll have Snow Canyon, the overall top seed in this year's 4A state baseball tournament, taking on Mountain View, the Bruins, coming down to SC High. That'll be a 4 o'clock first pitch. Then at 7 o'clock, Crimson will be in action. And we'll have that game for you as part of a Thursday night doubleheader. Then Friday, we'll actually switch series, and we'll do game 2 of the Desert Hills series. And that'll be over there at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So those are our 3 scheduled baseball games. And then the rest are, if necessary, we have to wait and see. We could have another game in there. We're just not sure that game will even happen. So it's just to be determined. Could be a 4 o'clock, or there even could be a 7 o'clock game because of that the way the timing on that Crimson series is spaced out. So we will let you know, and I guess you'll tune in to find out Friday afternoon. We'll get that on our socials as we pass along final scores from state super regionals. So and look. We're getting ready for the volleyball state tournament. That starts on Friday. Here we go with the soccer state tournament. I think the golf state tournament is today and tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, for girls. Like, there's just a ton going on. We're going to hand out a ton of state championships, 10 spring sports, plus all the individual accolades you can get in track and field. And we have some. I mean, it's been a really. I hate to use the word banner year, but it feels like it's been a banner year for track and field with Kiara Fong over at Pine View and Amelia Nadal at Snow Canyon and Eli Williams at Desert Hills. There's been some individual state records set this year in track and field, and I would expect that to continue when they get up to the state track meet at BYU, which I believe is next weekend. All right, we're off and running. It's the drive out of the Findlay Hyundai Studios. Hey, they've got cars to get up to 58 miles per gallon. You can lease for 60 months the Elantra for as little as $209. That's going to get you great miles per gallon, little commuter car. Or you can check out 0% on the Santa Fe or the Tucson this month at Findlay Hyundai. The Palisade, their best selling 7-passenger SUV. If that's your style, check that out. They got a new body design this year. It is sleek, stylish, and loaded with technology. Go see them. Brand new location, kind of right between Green Springs and Coral Canyon exits. There's that new exit 13. There's the McDonald's and the Culvers, and there's a Best Western and a Maverick, and then the Sienna Hills Auto Mall. There's one car dealership, the first to go in there. There's going to be more down the road, I'm sure. Findlay Hyundai off exit 13. Off and running. We'll come back. And Knights, can they go duck hunting tonight at the Fortress? We're going to break it down. Some guys the Knights are going to have their eye on if they're going to take down the Ducks. We'll break it down for you when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Greetings, salutations, and good morning. Thank you for locking us in, loading us up, however you're accessing the show today, watching, listening. We don't care. Thanks for dropping by. Show today brought to you by Coral Canyon Golf Course. Oh, it's going to be fantastic out there. They're just finishing up their aeration. I know Sand Hollow is aerating as well. Everybody's getting it dialed in for that hot summer that's coming to keep those fairways lush and green, and Coral Canyon is in great shape. So call out there, see what weekend tee times you can get. The course will be playing great by the weekend. 435-688-1700. That's 435-688-1700. In fact, it'll probably be playing great by tomorrow. I think they've got a tournament out there tomorrow. And just their normally scheduled aeration, which, you know, if you're a landscaper in Southern Utah, you understand. If you're a homeowner in Southern Utah, you understand. Pro Shop open today 8 to 5, though. So if you need to stop out there, grab some balls, some hats, some shirts, maybe something for mom for Mother's Day. TA would take a dozen Pro Vs for Mother's Day.
Yeah, I would.
Yes, you would.
So she can get out and play the Summer Rev Golf Tour.
I am looking forward to that.
The new golf tour in St. George that is now underway. There's a brand new amateur tournament, and hey, you want to go compete? You want to compete locally, regionally, nationally? There is a brand new Rev Golf Tour. You compete against other players, your same skill set. It's all flighted. $299 to grab a membership. You get 8-week spring, 8-week summer, 8-week fall membership. You got to play anytime in the week. There's a live leaderboard. Go check it out. GolfRevTour.com. All swings are welcome. Brand new sponsor of the show, GolfRevTour.com. All right, let's get to tonight's Knights and Ducks game 2 in the Fortress. We're doing a little duck hunt segment here on the drive. All right. Woo-wee. I'm all fired up for this segment. Paulie and Tara and I were having lunch yesterday, and we were thinking of a show bid that we could do today. And Paulie had the idea, hey, let's do a little duck hunt. And we all just said we love it, and we jumped in on it. And we've all picked a player.
Yes.
And I have my duck blind report. The Knights are hunting the goalie, the netminder, Mr. Dostal tonight. And the target isn't feathers.
Yeah.
It's Lucas Dostal, the Czech goalie that has come in and won the number one job during the regular season. He was a 2018 third-round draft pick, and the Knights already got game 1 on him. And right now, this isn't a duck flying clean and strong. His playoff save percentage sits around .878. His goals against pushing near 4.00. We just told you earlier, Colorado during the regular season was the best in the league at that at 2.4 goals against per game. He's nearly double that.
Yes.
In hunting terms, this bird's flying a little low and the wings are not quite steady.
There we go.
But can't get careless.
Yeah.
He's shown some flashes in game 1. He'd held his ground enough to keep it tight. That means he can still flare late and escape the shot. If he's going to win and even this series, Dostal's going to have to fly strong tonight. He's going to have to lock in. He's going to have to stay square to the shooters. No wild scrambling. You can't create a lot of traffic in the net, in front of the net. That means, you know, tracking pucks clean where he can see them through the air, covering rebounds like a dog on a downed bird. That's when he turns into a high-flying, hard-to-hit target. If that happens tonight, Vegas shooters maybe start hesitating. Passing gets a little too cute. Maybe shots miss their window, and suddenly the Ducks are the ones circling back in this series. But I have a feeling the Knights know how to bag him. Set the decoys. Stack bodies in front of him. Take away his sightlines. Force him to guess. Dirty goals win hunts.
Yep.
Let it fly early and often. No waiting for the perfect shot. You know, work the cross ice feeds, the one-timers, the quick lateral shifts. Jump in the flush. Attack off the rush. Jack Eichel using his speed. Marner, his great passing ability. Mark Stone, his stick. Just stay in the blind. Don't take one shot and walk away. Cycle. Reload and shoot again.
There we go. Shoot it. Yeah. Did we get him? I think we got him.
I think we got him. Yeah.
All right, one duck off the pond. I still see two more out there.
Walking out of here with feathers everywhere.
Yeah. I am going to go with Cutter Gauthier. Don't get comfortable with this guy. So tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights, the mission is simple. Do not let him get comfortable, because if he does, he will make you pay in a hurry. The Duck sniper, he comes into game 3 with 41 goals and 69 points this season, and Vegas has to treat him like the hottest target in the marsh. Yeah. You can't let a shooter like that fly free. So tonight for Gauthier, he has one of the quickest releases in hockey. He thrives in transition, and he can change a game with a single clean look. He loves to charge the net and has that quick shot. So the Golden Knights need to close shooting lanes from him, finish checks, and force him to the outside all night. If they don't, and they lose track of Gauthier for even one shift, the Ducks could make them regret it. So, yeah.
I mean, don't forget how good the Ducks and Gauthier looked in round 1.
Yeah.
And it's just one game sample size. This is a pivotal game 2. Ducks are thinking, hey, we get the split. We still away home ice. And Gauthier is good.
He's
really
good.
He's been
His
kind of
downhill speed, and like I said, those quick release shots before goalies can get set will kill him.
something about hockey and a name Gauthier.
Yeah,
It's just they're synonymous.
It's a big hockey name. And he is one of the more prized ducks on the pond. And let's see if we can get him though. Did we get him?
Let's see.
He's still out there. I see him.
There he goes.
We bagged him
There we
up.
bagged
That's
him.
2 of the 3. All right, we got one more duck out on the pond.
All of our older listeners that played the original Nintendo duck hunting, they're like, I remember that sound
That
effect.
sounds familiar. Yeah,
That's right. And now we've got the biggest bird in the flock on the pond right now. This is Mr. Leo Carlson. He's not your average mallard. He's not your average webfoot. He is a guy that is super skilled, great vision, elite touch, and hands. He's going to be a guy that he scored 40 goals during the regular season. He had a ton of assists as well. He is a guy that there's no decoy here. This is the prized bird of the flock. We need to take him out. He's going to provide a lot of good two-way play too, a lot of good defensive play. He's a good stick. He gets in passing lanes. He's kind of a pest. So this is the one we need to get. This is the leader of the pond.
This is the trophy duck.
This is the trophy duck. We're going to hang this one up, Leo Carlson.
We're going to mount this one.
We might have to take a couple shots here. Let's try and get him here on the pond right now. If we can shoot at him, and we'll try one shot. But I don't know if we'll get him the first one. We missed him. All right, so we're in the sniper's blind now. We're looking to try and hit him from another spot, and we missed him again. But one last time here, we got him. We bagged all 3 of the prize ducks in the duck hunt. So wow, what a effort it's going to be from the Knights tonight, as they do got to hem in those 3 guys. As I think we've spotlighted some key players for the Ducks tonight that are going to make an impact on this game. But if the duck hunt stands, and it is duck season in Las Vegas, we'll come home with 3 prize mallards.
And Dan Duva will join us second hour on the show. Voice, the Sicilian soundbite, voice of the Vegas Golden Knights radio network. He is going to hop on with us about 8:30, so a little less than an hour from right now. We'll get his thoughts. Knights are again favored, -160. Ducks are on the road, +140 on the money line. Puck line, Knights to win by 2 plus +155. Ducks to keep it within 1 goal, -180. Over under is a high over under, almost like the Avalanche over under from last night. It's at 6 and a hook. And only 4 goals scored in game 1.
Yeah, we saw the over under stay at 5.5 for the primarily that entire Utah Mammoth series. So they're giving
a little higher.
The Ducks' offensive prowess. They're expecting some more goals scored, but we'll see. I would lean under in that initial kind of vibe I have tonight.
All right. We'll see how it plays out. Paulie likes the under 6 and a hook. All right, we'll take a break. Fun going duck hunting with y'all. Knights, Ducks, game 2 tonight, 6:30 Pacific. That's a 7:30 drop of the puck Mountain Time here in Utah. We'll be right back to the Findlay Hyundai Studios. All right, we are back, everybody. Did you miss us? Thank you for sticking through the break with us here on the Fan Sports Network, the only live local sports talk show in all of southern Utah, St. George, Cedar City. Nobody else waking up talking local sports with us. So let's talk local sports for a minute. We are getting ready for the next 3 weeks. It's a sprint. It's a race to the finish. State championships. I'm curious. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts, Tara and Paul, about how many realistic shots do we have in spring sports to win state championships? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is? Because I think baseball, we would all say it's a 9.5.
I put it at 85%.
Yeah, it's high. I mean, every year since 2013, a Region 9 team has claimed a state championship.
Yeah.
But it's rotated between Desert Hills, Crimson, Dixie, Snow Canyon, back to Crimson, over back to Snow Canyon. I think
Crimson,
Pineview, I think, had one in that mix as well. Yeah, it's been crazy how dominant Region 9 baseball has been. But what about the other sports? Lacrosse, track and field. Girls golf, we know, is very likely.
Yeah.
Crimson and Pineview were probably the two favorites. Crimson just edged Pineview out in the last region golf tournament to be region champs, but they both could win state. They're both stacked. So I would say girls golf might be the next most likely, although you could argue Desert Hills softball is just as likely.
I think so.
With Riley Green, with Lulu West, with Wide-Right.
Yep. All of those.
They're a favorite.
Yep.
Heidi has done an incredible job building Desert Hills into a little. And you got to have great players, and Coach would tell you that. Yeah. But Coach Taylor has really done an incredible job. They are humming, and they have been so close the last 2 years and lost heartbreakers. Last year, they lose in a heart-pounding Game 3 state championship series. Yeah. And it almost just seems like this has got to be the year for Desert Hills softball. It's got to
be. The last 2 years coming in second place, I think they are just dying to get this win. Yes.
And then you look at, the track and field, and you don't know, how that's going to play out with all the teams from around the 4A world. But we know we're going to have some individual state championships. Sure. Not sure on lacrosse. I know historically the Snow Canyon boys lacrosse team has been really good.
They've got a really great chance. Yeah, they're tough.
Yep. So I think there's a really good chance that if you have student athletes playing spring sports, you might be part of a state championship. I remember in boys soccer last year, it was kind of a sneaky run for the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs boys soccer team, and they went up and won the state championship. And they were not the top seed. They were not the favorites, and they got hot, and they marched through, and they shocked everybody. And now this year, they kind of flying a little bit under the radar going into the postseason.
Yeah.
And it's teams like, Desert Hills that won the region championship. And a lot of people now have a bullseye on their back in the boys state soccer championship. I want to say that RPI should be out today for soccer, and the matchup should be out today. I want to say the reveal show is today at 10 a.m. I need to check on that. I know games will start May 8th at first round home site. So we're playing games this weekend. Then we go to the 12th is the second round for boys soccer. The 14th is home site quarterfinals. And then you get up to the semifinals at Zion Bank Stadium on May 19th, and then the semifinals, and May 22nd is the state championship there at the home of Real Salt Lake. Isn't that Zion Bank Stadium, or is that a different location? Is it America First Field? All the banks are buying up the branding rights, and it confuses me. I think it's America First Field is Real. Zion Bank Stadium might be something else. Paulie's checking on
America
that.
First Field is Rio Tinto Stadium is America First Field.
Yeah.
Formerly Rio Tinto is now America First Field.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. So I'm fired up for spring sports.
I am too. Let me just say, too, girls lacrosse, we could get a state championship in that, too. The top 5, we have 4 of the spots.
Wow.
Region 9 does. Hurricanes number 1, Desert Hills number 2, Canyon View's 3, but then Snow Canyon and Crimson.
Wow.
4 and 5. So that's another state.
Make up most of the top 5. What, 80% of the top 5 is Region 9 teams.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good.
I cannot wait to see who is crowned state champions, 10 spring sports. It's absolutely going to be electric.
Yes, electric. I love it.
And we are going to be jumping in the car. We are going to be heading up to Kearns High School in Gates Field, but not before we bring you some games. We decided we're going to jump around and it's hard because we follow all of our Region 9 teams. But we decided in this first series of these super regionals, we're going to do one Snow Canyon game, one Crimson game, one Desert Hills games, and then we'll just figure out if there's an if necessary game at some point after that, and we'll go from there. So tomorrow night, 4:00, Snow Canyon taking on Mountain View.
Yes,
Paul, you and Tara will be over there for that one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I'll be over at Crimson standing by at 7:00 as they will play Orem. And Coach Kevin Cave going to jump on the broadcast with you on that game. So we'll have a doubleheader for you tomorrow night as we lock in Region 9 action. All right, I wanted to take a quick break. Can we take a quick break here? And Jagan Levitt is going to jump on with this. We're going to get a little preview and some thoughts from the brand new youngest skipper in the state of Utah on the playoff push. He is the Desert Hills baseball skip, and he's going to join us right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Rounding out hour one, very special guest, the youngest skip in the state of Utah, joining us now, getting ready for his first ever head coaching playoff run. That is Jagan Levitt. Wasn't that long ago I was calling catches in the outfield, calling hits. Triple by Levitt as he rounds second, heads for third. It's a stand-up triple when he played at Pineview. Then I got to watch Jagan play for his whole college career right here in St. George for Coach Chris Fatenauer at Utah Tech, and now he is coaching the Desert Hills Thunder, who are the number 2 seed in the upcoming baseball state championships. Jagan, good morning. How we doing, Coach?
Oh, doing well. Just staying busy.
I bet. I mean, what's the excitement like? I mean, you've been through this before as a player. You've been through this as an assistant coach. But what are the emotions like heading into the regionals this weekend as a head coach for the very first year?
Oh, it's exciting. It's different, because, I mean, we were talking about it as a staff. Like, being a player, you're nervous, and then you get, one pitch by it, and you're ready to go. But, I mean, every game matters at this point. But, I mean, we're excited. We've had a couple of weeks off now, so, we had a bye week out last week. So we're just keeping practice short, trying to get these guys hungry, ready to go for tomorrow.
You're going to have the longest layoff of any Region 9 team. A lot of teams have not. Crimson and Snow Canyon have 9 days off between games. You had, 6 days to that? So you're over 2 weeks without playing a game. How have you guys stayed busy? How have you stayed sharp knowing you haven't had competition lately?
We're changing practice up. We're not doing the same thing every day. So, the kids are excited to be there, but I mean, we've been scrimmaging. Me and our coach, Drew Hill, last Thursday, we actually had a scrimmage with those guys. So me and Drew threw off the bound.
Nice.
Kind of making it fun, making it a little interesting. My arm is in shambles right now, but that doesn't matter. Yeah. But it's been fun, man. It's been good. We've been competing, just getting ready.
Jagan, wanted to ask you a little bit about the Stallions as looking at some of their team stats. They love to steal bases. I don't know if you've seen that on film, but the national average per max preps is 55. They've got 82 on the season. They like to steal some bags. 4 players with 10 plus. Is that something you guys have seen in the film breakdown?
So yeah, we know they run it well. They're really old. They're seniors, and so they like to play aggressive. They like to small ball bunt, manufacture runs, but. Yeah, I mean, we trust our pitchers and holding runners, and we trust our catcher, Isaac Swanson, to be able to throw runners out.
I want to just go back to a second of you throwing off the mound there. Was there any kind of a punishment if somebody hit a dinger off you? Like, did you have to run poles or did the hitter have to run poles?
No, neither. And nobody hit a dinger off me. So that's all.
Okay.
I walked maybe 80% of guys.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Was there any intentional hits?
No,
to walk them? No.
Okay. He's got to keep those guys healthy.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
For the state championship
right.
run. Hey, were you worried you guys might fall down below Timpanogos? Did it matter to you if you were the 2 or the 3? Was it important to be the 2 and stay on the opposite side of SC, so to speak, Jagan? Was that a thought process when the brackets came out last week?
No, I mean, for 2 and the 3, that side's the same. But, I mean, either way, you still got to play the best teams and you still got to win. So, at some point, it didn't really matter where we were sitting. Obviously, it's a good feeling the higher you are. But, I mean, at the end of the day, no, 2 and 3, same thing for the most part.
I remember there was a game over at your place about 3.5 weeks ago. You had no Jax Tolman in center field and no Harmon Skeen. And I remember talking to you post-game, and I could sense a little nervousness. Those are 2 of your dudes, Coach. Are those guys with this break as healthy as they've been in a long time? And is that a little bit of a blessing in disguise, having that layoff to get some guys healthy?
See, it's been good. So, we had guys get healthy. But then some guys, also got, hurt, give or take. But, I mean, it happens. But having Jax healthy, healing Harm up, we're excited. I think we're ready to go.
What are your thoughts on Region 9? I love how the bracket came out because we don't have any Region 9 matchups last weekend and we don't have any Region 9 matchups this weekend. The only way we were going to get one is if Hurricane had beaten Mountain View and they couldn't do that. So we don't have any head-to-heads till bracket play at Kearns. That's great for broadcasting purposes so teams aren't knocking each other out before we get up to Gates Field and go in a true double elimination format. What were your thoughts on the layout of the bracket?
I liked it. You know, it's really cool. Like it would be a little weird, but I mean that just shows you how good, you know, Region 9 is and how competitive. You know, everybody gets that higher seed, and you know, you don't fall to playing the lower seeds. But I think it's good. It makes it a lot more fun because then you go up to Kearns. You know, obviously if you get there, and then you know it's a different atmosphere up there, and you know, but it makes it a lot more fun.
Jagan, I've asked a couple of the coaches in region about this question. Nothing more important in a state tournament format than pitching. With the double elimination format, you could be playing a ton of games. Do you feel as if your rotation and bullpen has what it takes to go the distance this year?
Yes, we do. Like we trust all of our pitchers, and we got an older staff too. Like we have a lot of senior pitchers, a lot of junior pitchers. And we have some freshmen that we're really confident in. And so that's what we're really excited for is you obviously have a plan, but you got to win the game. You don't want to fall into that loser's bracket. I mean, you're throwing your best guys game 1, and then your next best guys game 2 and 3 and so on. But yeah, we're confident in them. But yeah, you have a plan, but you just never know, right?
Jagan Levitt, the skip from Desert Hills, the 2 seed. They will be in action tomorrow, 4 o'clock, game 1 against Stansbury. And then we'll be broadcasting game 2 in this best of 3 super regional on Friday at 1 o'clock. We'll see you on Friday, Jagan. Go get them. And thanks for dropping by on the drive. Really appreciate your time, bud.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, guys.
Jagan Levitt, youngest skip in the state. And he loves his arms. He loves his guys. He does have some good freshmen.
He does.
Cohen
Fuller. Yeah, he was impressive.
Williams.
Asher Williams. Ooh. Yeah, they got some good young talent.
I mean, they would get Crimson. If they win and Crimson wins their series this weekend, they would play that Monday in bracket play. It would almost be the same as last year when Crimson and Desert Hills met up, and there were 2 high-octane teams, and Dougie Smith was the hero, and Crimson won the game.
That's right. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah. And we'll be over there at 1 o'clock on Friday. That was Jagan Levitt live on the drive. We'll take a break. Hour 2 coming up when we come back. Oh, we're back. What's going on, Southern Utah? It is The Drive, brought to you by Soda Diet and Nutrition. And down 10 pounds. I started 185. I'm down below 175 right now. I've been loving this program. I've been loving how easy it is to follow, learning the nutritional habits. And look, I'm at the goal I set. I was like, I'll lose 10. That's great. I think I can shed maybe 5 more and then gain some muscle back, and been just hitting cardio. Now I can start, putting some muscle back on, and I'm all fired up, man. It's been fun for me and my wife to do this together, and I'll be truthful with you here. Structure for me is really good, and it keeps me going, and I love the real food. I love the results. This is learning habits on how to eat smart, keep your energy high, fuel your body right, and no pills, no injections, no drugs. This is real food and a licensed team of nutritionists taking you by the hand, saying, hey, eat this for breakfast, this for a mid-morning snack, 4 to 6 ounces of meat for lunch with 2 cups of veggies. Afternoon, do a protein shake. Dinner, have 6 to 8 ounces of meat and get your veggies. I'm starting. Hey, Paulie, I can have cottage cheese now.
Nice.
I can have yogurt now.
I love cottage cheese.
The options have opened up like Moses parting the sea.
That's right.
And the cool thing is when you join Soda Weight Loss, it's not something you do forever. You call 866-800-SODA, you join, and your partner joins for free. So you and the wife, you and the girlfriend, you and one of your kids. It doesn't matter if you have goals to let go of a few pounds and you want results that will last a lifetime. The weight won't come back on because it's eating properly, nutrition properly. Like my experience, 10 pounds down. My nutritionist, Blanca is her name. She's awesome. She keeps it real. She stays on me. She'll celebrate when you've had a good week. She'll critique you when you've had a bad week. It's been fantastic. So go to the website, sodadietnutrition.com, and get started today. Join now for a short time. They have results that last a lifetime, and your partner will join for free. Say it with me. Soda is state of the art.
Yeah.
866-800-SODA, or go to sodadietandnutrition.com. All right, let's get into the headlines. Let's check what's trending on the drive. I want to pump our broadcast schedule first. Tomorrow, doubleheader, 4 o'clock, Snow Canyon and Mountain View, Region 9 Baseball, Super Regional, Best of 3 Series. Again, 4 o'clock, Snow Canyon. That'll be followed as soon as that game is over by Crimson at 7 o'clock, as Crimson will face Orem. Then on Friday, we'll jump over. We'll have a 1 o'clock game as Desert Hills will play Game 2 in their Best of 3 Series against Stansbury. So 2 games Friday, maybe 2 games on Friday, but we don't know if there'll be an if necessary or not. We'll just have to play that by ear, and we will let you know. One of the big ones, Paulie, I'm interested. Are you fired up for this? The BYU and Utah State men's basketball teams are set to renew their rivalry.
Yes, I like this. I don't like that BYU is afraid to go to the Spectrum. The second game in the series, it's not a true
Salt
home and
Lake
home.
at Delta Center?
It's at Delta Center, so it's going to be at Marriott, and then the second year at Delta Center. Why is BYU too cool to go to the Spectrum?
Well,
Kind of like Utah's too cool to come down to St. George and play Utah Tech.
In baseball, that's right. Why do these schools think they're better than they are?
I'm sure maybe Utah State agreed to this because the Spectrum, the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, doesn't seat as many, and that would be a home game for the Aggies, and they would actually make more revenue, more NIL money.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this.
I like the series. I just don't like the BYU doesn't want to go to Spectrum.
Falslev's got another year. Templin's back. They signed my boy Sean Feltz from Crimson Cliffs High School via Snow College. Like I'm kind of fired up for this rivalry to be renewed.
I'm excited for Coach Jacobson's regime at Utah State. It's going to be fun. I think this is going to be one of the better non-conference games. Like, would you rather see? I mean, BYU played Miami and Dayton and Clemson and UConn and all those games
Tough
were
schedule,
fine.
yeah.
Great games. And UConn was an amazing game. Same with the Clemson game, the big comeback. But I think this game matters more to people in this state than any of those games. So this will be a fun one.
Well, Utah State's been better in basketball than the Utah Utes.
Yes.
They've been
You could
better.
even argue that
They've been way better. It
over
hasn't
the
even really
last
been
10
close.
years, they're the best program in the state of Utah. Pre-Kevin
It
Young.
is Utah State to me is a basketball school. I know
is.
they've had some dudes pop in the NFL, guys like Bobby Wagner and Robert
Jordan
Turbin
Love
and Jordan Love.
yeah.
They've had some dudes. But to me, this has kind of been a basketball school. The Bull Sheet, the student section, they love their hoops up in Cache Valley.
They love it, and they're getting a big game here. It's just unfortunate it won't be at the Spectrum, but they'll still get 2 shots at the Cougars.
But BYU has owned the last 10 meetings. They have won every single game. They have a 10-game win streak
All right.
right now.
Didn't know that.
But they haven't played since 2001. So it's been over 5 years that they have not played. It'll be 6 years by the time they lace them up this upcoming season. Other local headlines. Bees came back. How about those Salt Lake Bees? We're going to be up there next week. There's a homestand. We're going to try to sneak over to the game if we have a window of opportunity to do so when we're up there for the state baseball tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday night we don't have a game. We go over and catch the Bees.
Yeah, I've never been to a Bees game.
Yeah.
But they opened up their week with
Never.
the comeback win. A brand new stadium.
Yeah.
Salt
You
Lake
haven't been that.
scored the final 8 runs of their matchup with the Oklahoma City Comets, and they win 9-7 last night. Real Salt Lake won't be back home. They'll be on the road this week. Claret and Cobalt will take on FC Dallas on Saturday. They're 6th in the Western Conference with 19 points this season.
I got one for you. This is kind of interesting. If Live Golf can't survive beyond the season without Saudi Arabia's public investment fund purse strings, 2-time major champion Bryson DeChambeau
DeChambeau.
said
Yeah.
Tuesday he'd be prepared to grow his
YouTube
channel
Oh.
and play in tournaments that, quote, want him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Look, he's a
What does
free
that mean?
It means his contract
Going
is
to
up.
be an influencer instead of a golfer?
No, it means that Bryson is, yes, he said he would do subtitles, he would put it out in different languages, like, I mean, go all in worldwide YouTube.
Wow.
If the Live Tour does crumble, because he is in talks with the PGA Tour. You got to believe the PGA Tour wants him back. But
Yeah, but he still has to pay the same fines
and that's why I think,
waiting period.
I
And
think
stuff, right?
that's why he's playing the YouTube game. I think he's using that leverage. Like, how much do you want me, PGA Tour?
Okay.
Are you going to hold me to the same standard as
They
you
should.
did Patrick Reed and
Exactly.
Brooks Koepka, who Reed can't even play on the PGA Tour until the wraparound starts in the fall.
Yeah.
Right.
Koepka had to pay millions of dollars and can't get in certain events and has partial status right now. So there's
Right.
all this criteria. And Bryson DeChambeau is 2 years ago was carrying our national championship trophy around Pinehurst and hanging out with people in the villages outside of.
Now, I don't have my finger on the pulse like you, but it just feels like right now, in this current moment, that Bryson DeChambeau is the most popular golfer in the world.
Yeah, but he still shouldn't be exempt from.
Well, John
the same
Rahm
things that they did.
just reached an agreement with the DP World Tour yesterday as well. So
Okay.
John Rahm is looking at other options too. These players don't want to get stuck not playing.
Right.
So
Well-
Rahm negotiating with the DP World Tour.
Yeah.
Bryson's got his YouTube to fall back on, so he doesn't have to be in a rush because he's got
I
millions
love
of
that.
followers.
He's got his YouTube to fall back
How
on.
much do you think that pays him every single month?
Oh, a lot. I'm sure he's making buku
His break
bucks.
59 thing with
Yeah,
Trump, he gets
and
millions
all
of
that.
views.
Yeah,
and then
I've seen a few of them. He does a great job, but isn't the competitive fire there for him still? Doesn't he still want to compete against the best? And-
tournaments that want him.
Wow.
Keyword tournaments that want him.
That
So,
want
so,
him.
so if the PGA Tour wants him in all their tournaments, he's open to it. That you got to read between the lines in this deal. This is all.
See, I've never been a good read
You're
between
playing.
the lines.
He's playing the game through the media right now.
Yeah.
This is negotiation with the PGA Tour.
It's posturing for sure.
100% the PGA Tour wants Bryson DeChambeau back.
That's right.
I mean,
I think it'd be dirty though if they just bring him back in after what they did to like Koepka and Reed and stuff. Like he's got to follow the same
Look,
rules as everybody else.
But they're stars. They're stars in golf, and the PGA Tour misses Bryson DeChambeau the most on the PGA Tour. John Rahm would be second most. Maybe Dustin Johnson, Tyrell Hatton,
I kind of
Marco
agree with
Neiman.
her that he should be held to the same standard, but I have a deep feeling that he won't.
That's dirty.
One thing that Liv has done a savvy job at is buying early on young talents, offering them guaranteed money. They'd be years away from making on the PGA Tour if they made it at all. Now, some have failed.
So is it going to become a feeder league? You know, the merger talks
Well,
have died, all that.
If they can't get the financial investors,
It's just over.
it's going to go
gonna
away.
just go up in
It goes
smoke.
away.
The PIF is pulling funding at the end of the year. So unless they can
Okay.
go in and get new corporate sponsors, new shareholders, new investors,
Man,
I mean,
imagine.
and imagine you're a hedge fund manager and you're looking at an ROI and you're looking at the PIF spending $5 billion to get this thing all off the air, and to this point in time they've lost
Just been a
$5
big loser.
billion. You could have bought a majority share of the Lakers. You could have bought a majority share of the Dodgers with that money.
You could have owned a lot
You could
of
have owned
NHL
Manchester
teams,
United or
soccer,
Chelsea or Arsenal for
The
that kind of money.
Seahawks, the Padres, like there's
Yeah.
so many better
Oh
options.
my goodness! All because you couldn't ever
Exactly.
get an agreement with the PGA Tour, so you said we're going to go head to head with the PGA Tour, and
it made it a war of blood, and they weren't going to win that way because they were going to get some good players.
David
they
Puig,
got Rahm and
Tom
DeChambeau.
McKibben. There's some dudes on this live tour that the PGA Tour would, Cam Smith, Phil,
Joaquin Neiman, they'd want him
Dean
back.
Burmeister, Abraham Anser, Carlos Ortiz, Mark Leishman. There's still some good
Garner.
players
There's some good players
on the
right?
live tour.
Yeah.
There's some young talent on the tour too. David Puig, I think I would say, is young talent. Elvis Smiley, Caleb Surratt. There's some young guys that are really good on the live tour that nobody sees because they're on the live tour right now.
That's right.
And they're not playing on the PGA Tour. So everybody's talking about Akshay Bhatia and some of these other young guys that are coming up through the ranks and having some success. All right. Next story. Were Wemby's blocks legal? If you haven't been following this, obviously 12 blocks, the rim protection for Wemby during game one, a loss, a win for Minnesota, and they can't protect home court. They had a Julian Champagne 3 at the buzzer, and he missed it to win it.
Yeah.
So Wolves coach Chris Finch was not just satisfied with the outcome on Monday. He wanted everybody to know that Wemby got away with goaltending shots instead of blocking them. He called at least 4 shots that he said were goaltends. He said in his presser, the value of 8 points in the NBA. It's massive. That's also 33% of his blocks that are goaltending went uncalled. 33% raise. If I give you a 33% raise, Chris Finch said, you'd like that, right? That's a huge number. So very interesting going into game 2 tonight between the Minnesota Timber Pups and the San Antonio Spurs.
All right. I think that's
Last night, scores, because that's a preview tonight. Avalanche, 5-2 win over Colorado. How good is the Avalanche? Avalanche.
pretty good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And then, of course, in the NBA, OKC, no problem with the Lakers, 108-90. They win by 18. They cover the 14.5 point spread. LeBron has a game-high 27. You wonder what is LeBron, who's going into free agency, you wonder if this is it in L.A. or if he will come back on a one-year deal. LeBron still looks to me like he's got years left in the tank, Paul. He's 41, but he had a game-high 27, and he needs more from the supporting cast if they're going to hang around with Oklahoma City. So OKC now leads the series 1-0. Detroit takes a 1-0 lead. They beat the Cavs at home in Motor City 111-101.
Last headline for me, NHL first-round ratings are up nearly 70% year over year. The boost is driven by record viewership for both ESPN and TNT Sports, which each posted their most watched first round of the current NHL media rights deals. So the NHL growing and booming in the playoffs.
The other big storyline in the NHL, the Toronto Maple Leafs won the 2026 NHL draft lottery.
Pick. Gavin McKenna, most likely, the Penn State kid.
I was watching this live last night, and the way they do it, and the countdown, draw. And then they start the clock again and then draw. And the probabilities would change on the screen. Very fascinating the way the NHL does their lottery.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
But the Maple Leafs jump up a bunch of spots. The Sharks move up from where
Yeah, they
they
got
were
the
projected to be 9th. They move up to 2.
That's big.
Vancouver had the best odds. They fall down to number 3. Kraken kind of stayed where they were going to be anyway, and they ended up picking 6th.
Yeah.
The newest team in the NHL.
Yes.
So Leafs land the number 1 pick.
Should be Gavin McKenna most likely.
That's what everybody's saying.
Penn State kid who had I think he had an assault at a bar or something, and got suspended for a little bit. But he is a world class talent, so that'll be fun to watch him play. Most likely a Maple Leaf.
What do you think the Canucks got hosed last night? I mean, when you have the number 1 probability and then you end up picking number 3, I mean, Jazz fans can definitely fill you on that one.
Yeah, they can definitely sympathize with the pain.
I mean, a lot of people are saying they're disappointed in the lottery. A lot of people are saying they're happy. A lot of people are saying the number 1 pick won't even help the Maple Leafs. So
it won't. Yeah,
There's belief there. Those people believe.
It'd be better for the Sharks. Give Celebrini some backup.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing Canucks got hosed. I'm seeing it won't help Toronto.
Everyone's gonna have their opinions.
I'm seeing rigged. I'm saying change the format.
Every lottery, there's at least one person yelling rigged.
And Toronto's GM, I can't remember his name, he was on live after they won the lottery last night, and he's only been on the job since Sunday. So this is his second day on the job, and he's winning the number 1 pick in the draft lottery. He's a new general manager for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I can see him, bald guy. Got an accent like he's from Canada and Toronto.
There we go.
I can't remember his name, and
Sounds like a hockey
It's
guy.
not coming to me. Anyway, how would you like that? How would you like that? All right. Getting closer and closer to Dan Duva coming up with us on the show. Here in about 10 minutes, Duva will be stopping by, the voice of the Knights, and we'll get back to Game 2 tonight down in the Fortress. But we do need to take a break and clear some time, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's The Drive brought to you by Zag. Protect your phone better. Get to your local Zag. 2 St. George, 1 Cedar City location. Don't zig, just Zag. They've got you covered with screen protectors. They come with a lifetime warranty. If you ruin your case, they'll give you a warranty on your case. If it's a Zag case, go check out. That's where you shop for your phone to protect it better. If you ever break your actual phone, mention our show. They'll give you $20 off any phone repair.
Yes.
Charger, ports, accessories. They got you covered at Zag. Protect it better. Paulie saw a story.
I did.
Yep.
This on Twitter, I was browsing. I know we only got a few minutes before Duva here, but Collect BSU, collectboisestateuniversity.com, capped off its first blue turf drop by selling a 400 square foot sheet of playing surface, and it did have the 40-year anniversary of the program's implementation of the blue turf. Sold for $25,000 on auction on Tuesday night.
Wow.
Now I'm not saying $25,000, but is there any?
400
His
square
man
feet.
cave is going to be incredible.
So
with blue
he's
turf.
going to put that turf down
He's
in
gonna
a
put it
400
right down in
square
this
foot basement.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
$25,000 flooring
So
job.
that's a big Boise State fan. So I wanted to ask you two, and we've only got a couple minutes here. What would be the one sports memorabilia item that you want so bad that you would pull the trigger on right now if you had a free pass from the missus or the husband? For me, I don't have anybody guarding me, but I've got something in mind, but I'll let you guys go first.
Well, I mean, look, I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan.
Correct.
And I do have, a Tyler Lockett. I've got a signed Walter Jones. I've got, signed gloves from Doug Baldwin. We've collected some nice memorabilia over the years. But Jackson Smith and Jigba right now is currently my favorite. So when I start thinking about stuff, to me, it's more like game-worn autographed jersey from me and my son's favorite player, which is JSN right now. And so I would go that direction. It would have to be, I wouldn't mind something like throwback Steve Largent,
like
too,
Ken Griffey
that's
Jr. bat or something.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Griffey, Largent were my idols as a kid growing up. So I have to go back to my youth days when, getting autographs was fun. Now I'm interviewing. I enjoy doing it with my son.
Yeah.
But he's 21 now. The days of us scouting for autographs are pretty much in the rearview mirror.
And it's hard for us, like for me personally, I haven't asked for an autograph in 8 years.
Yeah, your media is kind of an unwritten rule.
It's a little creepy, for people our age to be
you're not
asking for
using
that.
your credentials to get an autograph.
Yeah, it's not a good look. But if I had to pick one thing, I actually have a game-used Chris Cooley jersey from the Packers game. It's one of my prized possessions. But I think I would get an Ovechkin game-used stick. I think that would be what I want. And actually, one of Tara's relatives had an opportunity to get one of those very sticks.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
And he
but
didn't
he was like,
take
how
it.
am I going to get it on the plane? I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Ship
You
it.
find a way.
Yeah, ship it.
Find a way.
You tell the clubby to ship it to your home address.
Yeah,
You don't have to
exactly.
bring it on the plane.
Like run over to the FedEx tomorrow
I
morning.
would still take it on the plane. I
Yeah,
would just
bring
be
it
like,
with
hey,
you, carry it through the airport.
It's carry on, okay?
That might be a weapon, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right, Tara,
Pre-
we're
9/11.
almost out of time. So what would be yours?
I
be?
would go with a Bo Jackson home run ball.
Oh, a home run ball.
Yeah.
Nice. From his baseball career.
Yeah.
Not the Raiders. I would have thought you would have thought
I
game
would
used
even
cleats
take.
or
I would even take something from the Raiders. But
Okay. It'd have to be Bo
anything-
Jackson.
But it would have to be Bo Jackson. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we've all got our things.
Yeah.
$25,000 for some Smurf turf. 400
That's a
square
real
feet.
fan. You ever doubt that guy's fanhood? He's wearing a Boise State, ball, bro. Oh yeah, I got about 400 feet of turf in my basement.
Yeah.
He knows ball. He loves ball.
I mean, spend your money on what you want.
That's right. Make yourself happy.
And Boise State's like, I thought we were just going to have to just scrap this.
Yeah.
These sucker fans, man, we must
You have
love
to
this stuff.
resod the field every 3 years.
Are they going to put do we know, are they putting the blue turf back down?
I think that is iconic with them. I don't think they're going away from that. They're just, quote, resodding and putting a new playing surface on the Albertson Stadium.
Oh, so it's going to be real grass?
Oh.
Or is it going to be turf?
I think they'll stay turf.
I think they're going to stay
The
turf.
field turf.
I don't think they would go to grass.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think they're just putting new turf down because it's an old turf.
Gotcha. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Sicilian soundbite. Dan Duva, voice of the night's going to drop by the show next. And we'll break down Game 2 tonight in Vegas at the Fortress. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is The Drive, and we went duck hunting in the first hour, but here we are, hour 2, more duck talk. We've got we're in the blind, and we're going down to Las Vegas, to the Fortress, and to the Sicilian soundbite, the radio voice of the VGK. Our good buddy Dan Duva dropping by the show to break down Game 2 tonight. Dan, how are you? It's been way too long, my friend.
Oh, it's great. Well, it's that time of year. It's great to chat with you guys. It's fun. It's so crazy that the Knights and Ducks have never played in the postseason until now. That the Ducks had won 5 straight Pacific Division championships before the Knights came along. Of course,
Wow.
The Knights have won 5 since they came into the league. And here they are meeting for the first time. So it's great to talk some Stanley Cup playoff hockey this time of year with you.
No, we're super excited. A lot of questions we're going to throw at you here. I want to start with Coach Tortorella, though. I mean, Dan, did you see this coming, Dan? Did you see Cassidy losing, command of this team? I mean, and talk about the difference with Tortorella now, because we've heard him talk, and he's just kind of a guidance counselor, and he's got an experienced group and all those things. But I want to get kind of your perspective on that change, because that is obviously noteworthy with what the Knights are doing in the postseason with this run.
I was surprised that John Tortorella was the person to become the head coach. There were points over the course of the season, especially after the Olympics, where you're thinking, okay, this team is got so much talent. It's one step up, 2 steps back, and for whatever reason, and you could spend hours trying to break down the reasons, the team just couldn't catch fire. They just couldn't get everything sorted out. They'd have 1 or 2 good games where you think, okay, now they've turned the corner, but then they would then look bad for a game or 2. So I actually thought that they had passed the point where making a coaching change was realistic. But then I was reminded, growing up in New Jersey, that in 2000, when the Devils won their second Stanley Cup, they fired their head coach with 8 games remaining in the season, Robbie Ftorek. The Devils were first place in the Eastern Conference, and with 8 games left of the regular season, they fired Robbie Ftorek and replaced him with Larry Robinson. Now, Larry Robinson was a Hall of Fame player for the Canadiens and was an assistant coach on that New Jersey Devils staff. So Larry Robinson takes over, and, they go and win the Stanley Cup. So when there are 8 games left in the Golden Knights season and they make the change, yes, I was surprised because it was as late in the season as it was. And then if you're going to make a change, do you promote somebody who's already on the staff? Like I mentioned, Larry Robinson was already on the Devil staff. The Knights have two former NHL head coaches on their staff. Dom Ducharme was the head coach, of course, in Montreal. John Stevens, most recently head coach for the LA Kings. Highly respected, great coaches. Maybe one of them gets promoted. Ryan Craig, who has been part of the Golden Knights organization from the beginning as an assistant coach in the NHL, head coach with the Silver Knights in the American Hockey League. They're having a good season, too. Maybe he'd get an opportunity. No. They went to John Tortorella. They went to John, who was let go by the Flyers with 9 games to go last season, and now here he gets hired with 8 games to go in this season. And John is different from Bruce in that they're obviously both very experienced, but Bruce Cassidy would always admit that he's not a cheerleader. He's a very smart hockey guy. He really knows the ins and outs, the X's and O's, the in-game adjustments, the tweaks. Incredibly smart, very articulate when it comes to breaking down a game. He was great on TNT, I thought, when he was a guest analyst on television last week. He was great. I texted him. I said, if you need any tips on broadcasting, I'm your guy. But Tortorella, of course, had been doing some of that on ESPN over the last year. He was an assistant coach for Team USA. Yeah. Mike Sullivan, the head coach there, and obviously they have a history. So John is very much a cheerleader, and that's what this group needed. John has said repeatedly, I needed to remind this group how good they actually are. And so this was a switch for moral reasons as much as anything.
And Dan, obviously a cheerleader for this team, and no bigger cheerleader for Carter Hart than John Tortorella. After the game's 2 and 3 losses, he was asked in the presser, do you make a move to Hill? And he said, I'm not wavering. There's not even an inkling of that kind of thought in my mind. Talk about John's confidence in Carter, who survived the 2 OT game and had a 33-save game in game 1 in the win. Talk about Carter Hart and John Tortorella's relationship.
Of course, it goes back to their time together in Philadelphia. I mentioned John had been let go there, but they were together for, a couple of seasons roughly, and you develop a relationship there, and it's not a relationship founded on goaltending, because John would – I don't know anything about goaltending. I let the goaltending coach handle that, right? So it's more about the personal relationship, and naturally it did not end in Philadelphia for either one of those people the way they might have hoped. And through it all, John made sure to keep in touch with Carter Hart. Having to step away from the team, very difficult situation where it's an existential situation. It's not just a hockey situation where you have to step away from the team, and then obviously is cleared and then is allowed to return to the NHL. But Carter has said how meaningful it was to him to have John reach out to him just here and there. Wasn't his head coach anymore. No particular they're not on the same, not Team USA related. Carter's not on Team USA. He's Canadian, right? They're the only. It's just strictly a personal relationship that kept them in touch. And, Carter would tell him about how he was training, doing some boxing and that sort of stuff. That was enormously meaningful to Carter. And you can, sometimes when you ask a player a question, the words give you part of the story, but the facial expression and the body language tell the full story. And you could just see the body language and the smile in Carter's face when you mention John's name and how important that relationship is. Mm-hmm. And then there's a trust there. There's a faith there. And I think when, the timing of John's hire coincides with Carter Hart's return from injury. Yeah. Yes, he was eligible to play back in December, but then was hurt in early January. And, he was good and then, average and then good and then average again and then injured and was out for a few months. Well, he's been downright terrific since returning. The numbers are off the charts, and John Tortorella's record lines up almost exactly with Carter Hart's record since returning from injury. Aiden Hill is 1-0-1 in the games that he's played under John Tortorella. The Knights have not had the goaltending this year. That in the previous 8 seasons, they had a save percentage as a team at .900 or better. This year it was .878. That's not even close to .900, and the Knights just struggled to get traction. And I mentioned earlier how they had 1 step up, 2 steps back, and the reality is they couldn't get a save. They spent more minutes trailing in games than every team in the league except for Vancouver, who was historically bad.
Oh, wow. That is bad.
Just nuts. Right? Every game it seemed they were trailing from the get-go. They were minus 18 in the first period, goal differential. Terrific third period, but that's because they were always trailing. They always had to score in the third period because they were always behind.
True.
So it's a funky thing, but now here they are. They've actually taken a lead to the third period 4 games in a row. They've blown it twice, but won in overtime in both of those games. But they've led wire to wire in the last 2 games. It's kind of nuts to say. That's not happened very much this year. But back to Carter Hart, I know it's been brought up a couple of times, when Carter gave up, as it turned out, 4 goals in 3 straight games, but he won 2 of those 3. I never once had the inkling that there should be a goaltending change. Not once. I don't know why. I guess some people think that they're smart and they look at numbers and they say, oh, no, he's given up 4 goals in 3. I'm sorry, I'm watching the games, and I've watched every Golden Knights game ever. Right? And normally I wouldn't, offer an opinion so strongly. I'd be stunned, shocked, and amazed if there at any point during the last 7 postseason games, John Tortorella even considered making a goaltending change, let alone actually making one. So anybody who has suggested that there should have been a goaltending change, I think needs to reassess that person's own evaluations of goaltending, because with all respect to Aiden Hill, who's won a Stanley Cup for this team, he's had a bad year.
Yeah.
There's no other. It's not an average year. It's a bad year, and he's had opportunities even when John took over. Has had opportunities to turn the corner, and he frankly has not. Meanwhile, Carter Hart's been very good, and John Tortorella has said, "I don't care about statistics in the postseason. The numbers mean anything. If you come up with the big save in the big spot for Carter Hart, the answer has been repeatedly yes."
Dan Duva, the storytelling, I can feel it in everything he says. The voice of the VGK, a New Jersey kid, went to the mighty Syracuse School of Broadcasting and living out the dream. And you have been there from the get-go, the only radio announcer the Knights have ever had from the inaugural season to this point forward.
Isn't that crazy? How did that happen?
Already got a Stanley K. Did they give you a ring? You're part of the team, man. You still got a ring, right?
He's got a ring.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. No, in fact, I'm looking. They not only that, they give you a neat little mini Stanley Cup replica. So I've got it on the shelf here, and a fancy little box for the ring, and a light, and it spins around. And everything.
I love it.
Look at that.
Did you get a week with the Stir Stanley too, or?
Yeah, the four of us broadcasters, the original broadcasters, were all still here. Gary Lawless, of course, with me on the radio, and Dave Gosher, Shane Knighty on television, and obviously we all sort of move around and do a lot of stuff. But yeah, we all shared a day with the Stanley Cup.
Nice.
Here in Las Vegas at beautiful Red Rock Country Club, and we had a lot of people come and visit and take pictures. And the neat thing was, the Stanley Cup folks, Phil Pritchard is one of the lead keepers of the Cup. They're all employees of the Hockey Hall of Fame. Well, they, of course, accompany it wherever they go. So I actually was with Bruce Cassidy on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. It was at his house and an event there. It was wild because they had a public event. They had speakers set up, and they were playing hockey play-by-play highlights from the postseason run. And, of course, it was my voice.
Nice.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Face for radio, after all, so nobody knew it was me, which was great. But that was really cool, and also to be around Bruce's family. They had a special private dinner to which I was not invited that included Bobby Orr, Ray Bork, Zdeno Chara. I guess they just ran out of seats, or my invitation got lost for that evening. But it was great to spend a day with those folks. But it was great to spend some time here. And then, like Dave Gosher and I, we're like, everybody wants to take a sip out of the Stanley Cup, and unless you win it, you're not supposed to lift it. Well, Dave and I had the duty of sort of. Well, yeah, you can touch it, you can sip out of it, but you're not supposed to lift it. Is sort of the rule, sort of. But Dave and I were like, we would lift it and pour it for you. So,
okay. So you were the pourers.
You'd step up to the cup, you'd take a picture, and then you pour your beverage of choice into the cup. Dave and I would sort of lift it and pour it, and you'd drink out of it. So Dave and I probably lifted the thing together 100 times. we had a great time. I appreciate you asking. And as they say, once they do it once, you want to do it again. So it's a great achievement, and it's wonderful that the organization was so willing to include us in that. And when George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon presented us broadcasters with the rings, the message was simple: share it with people. So don't put it in a safety deposit box somewhere where no one will ever see it. Bring it home, share it with family and friends, and I've certainly made a point to do that. So I do appreciate you asking. It's a great thing to share it with people. I was home for Christmas that year, and 48 people at my cousin Jimmy's house, and every single one of those 48 people tried on that ring.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Dan Duva, voice of the VGK. Game 2 tonight down at the Fortress, 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain Time. Man, I wanted to ask you about Howden. I mean, he's not an original misfit, but we made a trade to get him, and he has been so clutch so far in the postseason. It's been one of the bright spots for this team. What are your thoughts on Mr. Howdy Howden and how he's been playing as of late?
Oh, my goodness. Where to begin? Well, I'll start with my beginning with Brett Howden, which was back in 2017, and maybe even earlier than that, actually 2016. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round in 2016 when the draft was in Buffalo, New York, and I was the Tampa Bay Lightning minor league broadcaster in Syracuse. And Syracuse being close to Buffalo, and I knew people with Lightning organization and other organizations, I went out to the draft that year. And that was when the Lightning drafted Brett Howden in the first round. So I was in the Tampa Bay Lightning suite when he came up to meet Stacey Roost, who was overseeing player development for the Lightning at the time. So I met Brett the day he got drafted in 2016. Fast forward 2017, the end of that year. So, 16 draft is in June, 16-17 season. He's still in junior hockey. Syracuse Cruncher in the Calder Cup playoffs, and they need black aces, right? You have the young guys sort of join the team for the playoff run, even if they're not going to play. Well,
Yeah.
Brett was one of those guys. And so he was 19 years old, and he played a handful of games. So I called his first pro goals when he was 19 and got to know him back then. And I asked him about this recently because the Golden Knights called up Braden Bowman and Trevor Connolly, some of their young prospects. I said, Brett, what was it like when you were in that situation back in Syracuse in 2019? He mentioned Yanni Gord and Eric Condra, who've had great success, and how much he learned from those guys. And now he's passing along stuff to the young guys now. And it all circles back to what Kelly McCrimmon said about Brett Howden when he was acquired from the New York Rangers, and that is we bet on character. Brett's from Manitoba. Kelly McCrimmon, of course, is the Manitoba guru, as we know, for Brandon, Manitoba. And Brett's just a terrific guy. He's just always got a smile. It's been amazing to see him become a dad. He's just a terrific person, a passionate guy, too. And as you said, he seems to come up big in the biggest moments. He's become an even more successful hockey player. His career high in goals before last year was 9. Career high in goals was 9. He had 24 last year. Now he's got 5 in this postseason. He had 5 goals the entire 2023 postseason when the Knights won the Stanley Cup. And he's already got 5. He has 3 overtime game-winning goals. Nobody else in team history has more than 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
By the
2
way,
of those were shorties, right?
He has the shorthanded goal the other day, and then he assisted on Shea Theodore's overtime goal in the other game. So he's got 2 overtime points in the series. So it's amazing that he's been able to kind of be the shot in the arm offensively. He's got the first goal of the game in consecutive games. This game and game 1 and game number 6 of the previous series. So he's coming up with the offense at critical times. You mentioned the shorthanded goals. He's got 2 of those indeed, and both were assisted by Mitch Marner. And those 2 have been playing together here for the last little bit. And that's not been a combo we've seen a ton of this year. When Mitch came to the team, Bruce Cassidy said we're going to try him in different spots. We're going to try him with Eichel. We're going to try him with Stone. We're going to try him play him at center, play him at wing. And it's been a weird thing because Mitch Marner's not a center, but he's playing center.
Right.
Brett Howden is the center, but he's not playing center. He's playing wing. Basically what they're doing is, if you look down at a lineup card, you'd see 21, Brett Howden on the left wing, Mitch Marner, number 93 at center, and Mark Stone, 61 on the right wing. But really what's happening is Howden is taking faceoffs because he's better at that than Mitch Marner. He's bigger. He's left-handed. Mitch is right-handed, so Mitch can still take faceoffs in certain situations. But when it comes to defensive responsibilities, Marner is taking that. Like Brett Howden has the freedom to play the wing in offensive situations, but is the bigger guy and better to take faceoffs. So they're sort of, it's like taking car parts from one car and from another car and putting them together to kind of get what you need. So different roles for different guys. And John Tortorella has said that. Kelly McCrimmon has said that. Brett Howden's a real utility guy. He can play any position. He can play on the power play, can be on the penalty kill. We already mentioned his shorthanded points here. So it's so exciting and amazing, but again, given his history, not entirely shocking. 3 overtime playoff winners. Had one back in 2023, had one last year, and then exactly a year later, one this year.
Oh, I love it. Dan Duva just breaking it down. He knows, Howden as well as anybody with that backstory. I know Paulie's got another question, but real quickly, I wanted to ask you about the benefit of getting Wild Bill back. I know he was limited on the ice, maybe 11 minutes or so the other night, but it was sure good to see Wild Bill back, one of the original Misfits.
it is interesting. I think I said it to Gary on the radio. If you were to ask, say, 1,000 Golden Knights fans, who's the number one player in the history of the franchise, Wild Bill might win that poll. Well, there'd be some great other candidates for sure, but I think who's the fan favorite if you polled 1,000 folks, I think the plurality would be William Karlsson. And even during warm-ups the other day, unprompted by Bruce Cusick, the PA announcer, or the scoreboard or anything, just the sight of William Karlsson elicited a roar from the crowd during warm-ups when he stepped onto the ice. And then they put his face on the screen as they go from player to player, and then a big roar for that. He comes out for the game right before the anthem, another roar. He comes out for his first shift, another roar. Like, it's just every time he did anything, the fans were just locked in on whatever he was doing. So neat to see. And, hadn't played since November 8th. He's never been through an absence like this. He had appeared in every single night's playoff game until this year, and he missed all of the first round. Yeah, then the question is, how do you catch up to Stanley Cup playoff speed when you haven't played since November?
Right.
Well, he's such a smart guy. He's so well-conditioned that if anybody is asked to make that jump, he's one who can do it. You also hope that, the injury itself is not hampering him, that he's still okay, and they'll have to keep an eye on that. He's returned because of the kind of player that he is, and he's so good at defending and just one of the most responsible centermen in the game. And even Bruce Cassidy talked about this on television when he was doing TV the other day, how Jack Eichel and William Karlsson were so essential for the Knights during that playoff run. You could just shut down other teams' top scorers. William Karlsson, yes, is remembered for his 43 goals in the inaugural season, between his own legs in the clinching game for the Knights against San Jose. But he was also the best plus-minus guy in the league that year. And he's just so responsible, so smart, that if you, especially in the playoff series, you can take away an opposing team's top-end talent, and in particular the Ducks. If the Ducks have some speedy, young, top-end talent, if William Karlsson can get in the way of those guys, that's going to lead to success. The Knights only gave up one goal last game. That's 2 games in a row they've only given up one goal. And William Karlsson, however much he can contribute, it would be welcome. So we'll see. Again, assuming he's healthy, he'd only get better. But that's, I know, that's something they're keeping an eye on to make sure that he is able to play and not in a position where he's compromised because of the injury and the rehab process.
Dan, just wanted to circle back to tonight for Game 2 in a minute or less. Just wanted to see what your diagnostics are for tonight's matchup, the X factors, what's going to play in, because this Ducks team, you mentioned the high skill, Leo, Cutter, of course, but they've got vets like Stanley Cup champion John Carlson from the Capitals. They've got a lot of veteran leadership. Where do you see this game in the pushback from the Ducks tonight?
Yeah, including Alex Killorn and Radko Gudas, who I mentioned earlier in Syracuse. I was with Killorn when he got his call up to the NHL at a bar in Syracuse one night. Anyway, it's a great question because the Knights won Game 1, but nobody's happy about how they played. You think about it, you gave up one goal, they're not happy about it. John Tortorella has reacted as if the team lost the game. Carter Hart was the reason they won in everybody's eyes. So, you expect a better start, that the Knights, click in gear more so than they had in the first game. But, it's a feeling out process in a playoff series. So, and the Ducks, you'd think would be better as well. They scored a lot this year, but they also gave up a lot. I'm interested to see if the Knights can continue what's been a really strong defensive play. Only one goal allowed the last couple of games, as I mentioned. That's partly Carter Hart. Part of that's the guys in front of him. Braden McNabb is the only player in the NHL, going back to the beginning of the Knights, 2017, with 1,400 block shots and 1,400 hits. He's the only guy. Jacob Trouba's close. He missed out on that statistic by 4 hits. 4 blocks. But that's and Trouba obviously plays for the Ducks. So,
Dan, we are out of time, my friend, but we sure appreciate you hopping on, and we'll see you have a great call tonight.
Great, thanks very much, guys.
Dan Duva, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on The Drive.